What's good, everybody? It feels like Christmas morning. Welcome into Coaching Company here on Stadium Valley Sports Live, Amazon Prime Video, DirecTV, YouTube TV. You guys know what time it is. All of our content today out of BTT Studios presented by the Four-Letter Word Club, the most exclusive club in all of golf. Now, speaking of golf, the Ryder Cup Day 1, Session 1 is underway. And how do you silence a New York crowd? Well, you come out and you start kicking that ass right from the jump. Right now, Team Europe up on 3 matches, 5, 4, and 2. Rory McIlroy, yeah, he's backing up his chatter with great play with the current FedEx Cup champion, Tommy Fleetwood. They are putting it on. Scotty Scheffler, number 1 player in the world, he's getting housed with Russell Henley. The only team for Team USA that has a red one up is Patrick Cantlay and Xander Schauffele. 4 more matches to come this afternoon. We will update throughout the hour. Now, we had a winning day on Thursday here at the brand. 5-3. We'll take it. How about my man Zeno? You talk about by a whisker. 23-20 was the final last night as the Cardinals doing what the Cardinals do, laying an egg for 3 quarters, then mounting a comeback, only to lose to a last-second field goal. Now, we have a ton of content here at the brand. If you want to become a premium member, we would encourage you to do so. If you are, then you're in the chat on YouTube. You get a little star next to your name and some benefits to your BTT experience. Also, we want you to rep the brand. Order whatever piece of merchandise that you want. Send us a picture. We'll throw it right up there. I Bet Wrestling. You can get that right now. A big NXT show on Sundays. Now, I don't even have time to get to the schedule. You guys know we're busy because right now I hear they're like pounding on the. See, I told you. All right. Coming up over the next 60 minutes, college football, huge weekend. NFL, huge weekend. So let's break it all down with the best in the business. They're ready to come in. Let's let them. Let's beat the books. Oh, and look at this motley crew today. And as I bring you on, Terrell Hatton goes 3 up over Bryson and Justin Thomas. And that opening tee shot by Bryson seems so long ago. Now, let's start with the man that last night won the under by a half a point. He goes by one name and one name only. Good morning, Zeno. How was that sweat for you last night?
I was a little verklempt. I had to just make sure I got through the end of that game, and the idiot kickers drive me nuts. But I will say this real quick. I didn't tell you guys earlier this week. Here's how I know Coaching Company is up my profile. Somebody asked Grok for my picks last weekend on Twitter, and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll take that. I always see that. I always see Grok everywhere. That's really cool. Well, thank you. And obviously,
Grok was only like 60% correct on all the plays that I had. But that's neither here nor there.
Hey, it's better than 50. Better than 50. We'll take it. God, I love that. We're growing, baby. We're growing. Now, right next to him, he's got the best damn beard in the game. He works for Prize Picks. You can get all of his stuff over there as well. Soupy, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. You know what I love? Finally, college football has learned not to put crappy teams on during the week. So that's why Friday night we have ranked teams playing. I'm excited.
You're right. Number 8, Florida State playing tonight. Number 24, TCU. That means young Peyton couldn't be on the show because he's already tailgating. He's listening to Zeno. You become like his big brother, Zeno. You really have.
More responsibility. I can't wait.
And finally, when you come on Fridays, you know you're going to get a 5-pack and a little something extra as well. He is the man live from the dirty Big Chuck. Good morning.
Morning, Coachman Company. We had our first landing box controversy last night. How about that coming all the way back just to falter in the final few seconds? I was kind of hoping they would go for 2 in that position. He's probably kicking his head. Probably better spot to go for 2.
Yeah, Zeno was too. He really, because that overtime would have been done with those new overtime rules. Your 43.5 would have been dead. All right. So in honor of the under, just cashing a little bit, Zeno, I would love for you to start us off today. Best bets, go.
got a big one tonight between Virginia and Florida State, but this total is being bet up by the public. So what are we going to do? Go in the other direction. But I'm going to cut the game in half here. First half, under 30.5. I think both these teams are going to feel each other out early. The pace will be a little bit slower than expected. Why I don't want to go full game? Because I do like both of these offenses, and I think their adjustments can be made, particularly on the UVA side of the house. But the other big thing about this game, UVA quarterback Castellanos, kind of iffy, not 100% sure of his status, and they may be very tender to start the game until he gets his legs underneath him. And then we're going to go a little exotic here. And I actually start to love this play more and more every time I talk about it. Oregon State hosts Houston. Oregon State might be one of the worst teams in the country. We're taking that team total under 17.5. Why? The Houston defense, 9th in FBS in yards per game. They're 13th in third down conversion percentage. Oregon State, 122nd in FBS and -4 turnover margin. Also, Oregon State is the 11th most penalty yardage in all of college football. Watch the Beavers shoot themselves in the foot. Houston holds them to under 17.5 tonight.
Yeah, that game's actually a non-ranked game, or two non-ranked teams. But I love this spot, Zeno. Oregon State, I've watched them a couple times out here late on the West Coast.
Your eyes bleed?
Oh my God. Oh my God. You're like, I got to go to bed. If I'm betting on it, I just can't watch it. It is so bad. They are so freaking bad. All right. Great start, Zeno. Thank you very much. All right. Soupy, I'm coming over to you, big dog. I have a good feeling about you today. Best bets, go.
Scared money don't make money. It looks like Zeno is playing with scared money because I'm going with the full game under. I'm going with the under 60. I think it's going to be a slower paced game. Yes, they both can air it out. I love Talmy Castellanos. And even with that ankle injury, that's why I think they're going to slow it down. I think they're going to pound the rock. Virginia at Scott Stadium are a very good team. They have beaten ranked teams before. I think that's why Florida State is going to control the pace of this game. And I think it stays low the entire time. I'm going the under 60.5. And I'm going to baseball. I'm going with the Marlins on the money line. I think the Mets collapse comes complete this weekend. I think the Marlins get it done. Sandy Alcantara, of teams he has faced multiple times this season, the 2.25 ERA against the Mets is the lowest. The Mets can't hit right now. They can't pitch. Man, Mets fans, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they got two teams right on their ass. The Reds, 1 game back. The Diamondbacks, 2 games back. So right now, the Mets, very precarious in that third wild card spot. Now, I've had kind of a rough week cashing with the coach with baseball. All of my games lost by 1 run. Brutal. But what did you say about scared money doesn't make money, Soupy? Oh, your boy's not scared. We're going right back into the deep end today. Now, I got one straight play. The Astros, money line -140. The Astros have to win. They cannot lose. Their backs are against the wall. They went out yesterday and they laid the wood to the Oakland A's. I think they're going to get started again today very, very nicely, because you look at the wild card standings in the American League. Right now, Houston 1 game back of the Tigers. The Tigers are battling the Guardians for first place. So basically, they're a game back of both teams. Now, also, I'm going to do something that Raphael would kill me for. A 2-game baseball money line parlay. Say it with me. At the top of the American League East. And Zeno loves this play. I'm going to ask him in a second. Yankees on the money line. The single game's too juicy. Blue Jays on the money line. Single game way too juicy. But if you put them together, Yankees playing the Orioles, Blue Jays playing the Rays, you get a little tasty +162, which I absolutely love. Zeno, 15 seconds. You love this play?
I mean, there are 2 teams dying to play spoiler and soil your parlay. I agree. Philosophically, both of them on the right side, but man, oh man.
I know. I just watched the Orioles just lay down the last 2 days against the Rays, and I think the Rays now have already booked their vacations from Tampa to the Bahamas. All right. So all of us have gone. I love Zeno's plays, love Soupy's, love mine. But do I love myself a little soccer over the weekend? You're damn right I do. And so does he. Yeah, that deserves a little Raphael clap. Even before we get him. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Friday. That means it's Footy Friday. All right, he's the best soccer capper in the game. So let's start with a Friday play. What do we got today, Chuck?
Bundesliga, Bayern Munich, Werder Bremen, and with Bayern Munich first half totals averaging 3.5 at home, I'm going to make this one easy. We're going to go with the first half over 1.75 goals. I think we could see 3 or 4 first half goals in this one.
Let's get into Saturday, and let's start with the EPL because I love Premier League. Early out here, there's 7 a.m. starts.
We don't have to worry about that extra early when we have the Chelsea and the Brighton, though. And when these two get together, we just tend to see fireworks. This total has went over in 9 of their last 10 meetings. So we're going to go with the over 2.75. Another one, I think we could see a 2-2 type score line. So we get the full pay. And then we will go to the, let's see, Spain. We're going to the Madrid derby. We actually have Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid. I'm just going to ride the hot hand in this one. Real Madrid team total over 1.5. They've actually scored 2 or more goals in 11 of their last 12 league matches. Then we're going to bring back Italy, Serie Cagliari, Inter Milan, 2 more teams who enjoy playing one another. We're going to bust out another over 2.75. This one has went over in 8 of the last 9 played at home versus Inter Milan. And then we had to have a little MLS gold mine. Colorado Rapids in Minnesota, and I love Colorado in this match. And if I like them, I expect them to score early. Give me Colorado first half team total over half a goal. They've scored a first half goal in 3 of their last 4 fixtures.
All right, very, very good. Now, also, we made this kind of our thing. Very quickly, we have a stay on your toes parlay. Yes?
Stay on your toes, first half parlay, however you want to say it. We basically just need a first half goal in the 5 matches that we went through, and that pays a nice little plus 230. And this week, can we please have VAR stay out of our business?
VAR, stay down, sit down. You're dead to us. I love that play. We'll, of course, recap them at the end of the show. Now, little Marky Model has shown up. The fastest way to piss off Zeno is to bring up a 4th box on a Friday. Mark, good morning. And did our JTS play of the day hit yesterday?
It sure did, Coach. The play of the day hit. DG went 2-0, so we're going to follow in his footsteps with today's play of the day, and we're going to go back-to-back as well because we're going to take Aaliyah Boston of the Indiana Fever to get over 8 rebounds, something she's done in 4 of the last 5 playoff games, and she's done it in both games of the series against the Aces where she's averaging 12. We're going to pair that with San Diego Padre Luis Orez to get over 1 hit. He's done this in 13 straight games, and he's been over in both times he's faced Zach Gallen, who's pitching for the Diamondbacks. Put them both together, you get a plus 114, just that sports play of the day, and a huge, huge happy birthday to my lovely wife, Nicole. I love you.
Oh, happy marriages. We hate them here at Coaching Company. Scan the QR code. There's a code NFL100, and you get the first month for $1.
Yeah.
We have one happily married man. We've got Raphael, who's also married. Soupy, you got a little one. You're married happily, I hope.
Yes.
Chuck.
For a long time now. We don't discuss it much, but yes, I
am. So, Zeno, me and you are the only. Oh, my gosh. All right. Great job. We're just getting started, though. Coming up on the other side, there are some gigantic games in college football. 2 in the SEC, 1 in the Big Ten. And that's just to get started. Then, bottom of the hour, we're talking about the NFL. This is going to be a rubber meets the road for one of these 2 teams, the Ravens or the Chiefs. And then Logan Paul, what are you doing? We discuss that later. It's Coaching Company. Presented by the 4-letter word club. Stadium, Bally Sports Live. Come on back. All right, John Rahm just hit a big putt to tie the 14th hole. So Rahm and his partner, I can't remember, Rahm and Hatton, 3 up on Bryson and JT. It's 3, 4, and 5, the first 3 matches. And then Schauffele and Cantlay are up by 2. All right, gentlemen, it's rare that you get 2 ranked teams playing in separate games, but it's a big one, Soupy, for Florida State tonight because they're number 8. They beat Alabama already, but a lot of people are remembering the last couple of years. Which game are you more looking forward to tonight, Florida State or the TCU game?
I'm looking forward to Florida State because I want to see if they're up for this game because next week is their big game of the year. It's the rivalry against Miami. They cannot look ahead. They have to play tonight. This is also an ACC matchup, and if they want to compete in the ACC and try to play against Miami next week, they got to win this game tonight.
Boom. Big Chuck, which one are you looking forward to tonight?
I'll go with the TCU Arizona State game. Originally, I was liking TCU, but it's looking like it's favoring Arizona State in a lower scoring game. So that one should be a good one. But look out for Virginia also. I think they could play spoiler tonight.
Isn't it amazing how the ACC, the way it was supposed to start, was going to be Clemson and kind of everybody else, and now all of a sudden Georgia Tech's not bad, but it's Florida State. How quickly you can turn around when you have the portal and getting into the conversations, Mr. Zeno. Zeno, which one are you looking forward to tonight, the Florida State game or TCU? Oh, no. Power surge.
There's your lap.
Yeah, there's a lap. Producer man, we got to drop him off until that thing is good. But real quick, ACC, Soupy, they're, I think, better and different than people thought they were going to be.
I'm excited about Georgia Tech. I've loved this team for the last couple of years now. They play well against good teams. They beat Miami last year. They've competed against Georgia, and now I think they're going to show themselves they are a competitor in the ACC.
And sometimes it's a good thing to have a Friday night game and kind of get – because if Florida State played Virginia tomorrow, they would not get the same kind of attention. These Thursday, Fridays are so important, especially now in this world of the college playoff. You need to have that focus. You really, really do. All right, it is time to talk college football. We're back live on Stadium in just 5 seconds. All right, welcome back, everybody. Coach and company. Quick update. Team Europe, it looks like, is going to go at least 3-1. They're up 3 in match 1, 4 in match 2, and 5. Rory McIlroy and Tommy Fleetwood. I mean, Team Europe, how do you come out in New York City and shut it down? That's what you do. Xander and Patrick Cantlay, they're up 2 in their match through 10. And Hovland just missed a short putt. So it looks like if things stay the same, that Europe is going to win the first session 3-1. One of my best bets from our Ryder Cup show that I'm sure all of you watched at our Coach and Company YouTube page was at least one session today to end 2-2. And I thought for a long time that's the way it was going to be. But Bryson and JT have really laid an egg the last hour or so. So it's very quiet out there right now. All right, it's a big, big weekend in college football. It's time to dive in as we go back to school. Boys, we're going to start in the SEC. We just talked about Florida State at the break on our YouTube channel, how they, in week 1, laid it to Alabama. But the last couple of weeks, Zeno, Alabama has looked like they've righted the ship. They're inside the top 20. They've looked great. And then you've got Georgia. This is always a battle. Kirby, former Nick Saban. Nick Saban's gone. But Georgia, I think the way they beat Tennessee is going to do a lot for them. Big fourth down completions, comebacks, 2-point conversions, all of that. So, all right. Thank you. So, Zeno, as we start right here, Georgia 3-point favorites, which means on a neutral site, it would be a pick'em game. Your thoughts?
Well, the Georgia defense certainly is not something to write home about. But let me give you some numbers here. This is just the 4th time in the 33-game home winning streak that the Bulldogs are a single-digit favorite, and the first time they're favored by less than a touchdown. In the previous instances, the 3 previous instances, they were a single-digit favorite. They won those games by at least 14 points. However, Kalen DeBoer's teams as an underdog have won 8 of 11 and covered 9 of 11. As a Power 5 head coach, it's 6 outright wins and 7 tries. So Alabama the side here for me this weekend.
Paper, pen, write the information down. That's how you learn. You'll never remember it an hour from now. That's what I'm talking about. So with all that being said, Soupy, I'm also looking at the total here because Georgia's defense was a sieve against Tennessee. They went up and down the field. Do you like the total of 52.5?
I love the over because you remember what happened last year. Same thing. This was a 75-point finish. We're going to see both offenses go back and forth. 2 different quarterbacks this year, but I love Gunnar Stockton as a passer, as a runner. Ty Simpson with I can't think of the Alabama running back right now, but they're both very dynamic teams. I think we're going to see the same sort of game. I think we're going to see 60, 65 points.
So when you look at Alabama, and this may be, and last year we thought that we might at one point, Zeno, in October, 5 or 6 teams from the SEC were lined up to make it to the playoffs, and they all got upset, and it all came down to 2 or 3. But Alabama, if they lose this week and then win out, even though their schedule is incredibly tough, they're going to lose to 2 top 10 teams. How much do you think now at the end of the year that an SEC team with 2 top 10 losses will be looked at after last year where the SEC did not fare very well?
If Alabama's only 2 losses out of Florida State and Georgia, they're getting in the college football playoff. Just write it down now. I mean, that's why this Friday night game, Alabama's going to be watching very closely because if Florida State dumps this game to Virginia, it's going to look worse for their resume and puts a lot more stress on them to win this game against Georgia going forward. Still, regardless, a 2-loss Alabama team should get into the college. They were 3-loss last year. 2-loss Alabama team gets in the college football playoff.
Yeah, you look at their schedule. Vandy's no joke now. They're a top 25 team at Missouri. All their tough games, Soupy, they're at home. Tennessee at home. LSU at home. Oklahoma, their quarterback should be back by the time they play him later in the season. They play OU in Tuscaloosa. So their schedule, although tough, is very home heavy.
That helps them out a lot too. And I completely agree with Zeno. A 2-loss Alabama team, they make the playoffs. We were debating last year as a 3-loss team, should they make it in the playoff? So I think if they only have 2 and it's, again, 2 top teams, I think they get in.
All right, let's flip it over. We've got a top 10 matchup as well in the Big Ten. And, Zeno, Oregon, they could almost go to sleep if they win this week and wake up for the college football playoffs. Their toughest game on the schedule currently after this week, wait for it, Indiana. That's right. The mighty Hoosiers. For some reason, the schedule makers, as you know, you change the opponents every year, there's going to be a lucky team. This year, it's the Ducks. It's certainly not Penn State. Your take on this one?
Just objectively looking at the number, if this was played on a neutral site, are we really believing that this game is a pick'em? Because I don't. I believe Oregon would be favored on a neutral site. Not only that, let's add in this history here, Coach. Penn State 4-20 versus top 10 opponents under James Franklin. One of those 4 wins was last year in the Group of 5 Boise State in the college football playoff. Limited to Big Ten. Penn State 2-18 in those games, 3-11 when they are also ranked in the top 10, and 1-9 against Big Ten teams in that situation. Until I see James Franklin do it, I have to see him do it. I can't legit. As much as I want Penn State to win, I can't do it.
You're right. You got to show me. And Zeno, in college, these coaches get exposed because it's way more gut, heart, and understanding that your D-backs probably can't guard anybody. And Soupy, when I look at the schedule for Penn State, normally their year comes to an end as far as momentum when they play Ohio State. And they've got them on the schedule again this year.
And I think it's going to be tough for them this year. I don't think this team is good as it's been in previous years. And I think this might be the year where they kind of bottom out. I'm also looking at 1-8 versus top 10 teams at home. How are you that bad at home in these type of big games? And I think Oregon is better than they were last year. I love Dante Moore. I think if he has a great game here, we're putting him right into the conversation of a Heisman Trophy candidate, especially with John Mehter out for the next few weeks.
There is a big change this year, guys, that games like this could really, really affect long term. And that is the fact that they've changed it to the top 4 seeds get a bye instead of the way they did it last year. So, with that being said, Zeno, how much extra emphasis do you think the coaching staffs are putting on these games? Because this could be the difference between playing in a first round game and getting that all important bye.
Well, look, obviously they've had this game scheduled on the calendar from the beginning of the season. So they knew what they were up against in this spot here. It's the whiteout night at Penn State. So it's always a huge, event for them. But in reality, the loser of this game still has everything they need in front of them, right?
Mhm.
With 12 teams now, even if they don't play in their conference championship game, as long as they don't dump another one, they're going to end up being a team that's going to be in the college football playoffs. So that's kind of the what I felt was always the downside to expansion. This game, as great as it is, doesn't really mean that much because at the end of the day, both these teams will still be playing in January.
Yeah, that's a very good point. It's a very accurate point as well. Let's flip it over to our third and final featured games. And by the way, we will have an episode Saturday morning on demand, and we'll add 2 or 3 more games. Me and Mikey chop it up for you on Saturday morning. Now, this is a big one, and you guys know how much I love the off-the-field stories, the booth things that show up from time to time. And we know that Lane Kiffin, who, by the way, did you guys see the 30 for 30 or whatever that was on Lane Kiffin the other night on ESPN?
It was great.
Oh, my God. It was so great. This dude is like my favorite coach in America because he gets it. He understands this is about entertainment. He doesn't care about doing interviews in the middle of the game. Lane Kiffin is the guy. He's going to end up at Alabama someday, and we know that. But you don't think he will?
No, the all-time best this is Lane Kiffin. You see what Lane Kiffin's daughter is actually dating an LSU linebacker.
Yes.
I posted a picture, and all Lane Kiffin retweeted was, take the over.
Which is so great. Isn't that so great? Now, the daughter was trolling him, too, by sitting in the lap.
Yes.
And it's the best linebacker in the country.
Yeah.
Perhaps. A lot of people think so. It was great. Take the over. Oh, my God. By the way, the former D2 transfer, can we drop that now? Because this dude has been electric the last couple of weeks with the starter out. He's been just good enough. And they're favored at home, Soupy, by 1.5. Your thoughts?
All LSU needs to do is run the ball. But we all know that Brian Kelly hates running the ball, coach, like you hate the word nervy. If he just runs the ball, Ole Miss has not been able to stop the run all year. They just need to run the ball, and they could cruise to the win. Do not try to get into a pitching match with this guy, Trinidad Chambliss. He's pretty good. He's a dual threat guy. I'm still going to take LSU, though, to win. I just think they have the better defense, and I think they get it done.
We don't root against anybody, do we, guys? That's not what we're about. But, Zeno, I'm already imagining if LSU has a last-second loss or a blowout loss, how great that post-game presser could be for Brian Kelly. So I'm kind of leaning one way. Am I a savage? Diabolical?
No, I certainly, after his little, piss fit last time around, which I apologize for because he was acting like a jackass. But, what's interesting here is these are the games that Lane Kiffin over the years has been chided for not winning until it was last years ago when he finally beat Georgia at home. These are the kind of games that Lane Kiffin, for all of his bluster and how much we love him and the great personality and everything else, as far as coaching is concerned, this is a coaching matchup against one of the best X's and O's coaches in all of college football in Brian Kelly. So interesting to note that Ole Miss is a slight favorite here. As much as that number looks appealing to take the over, I think we actually get the under in this game.
It could be one of those Saturday afternoon. I wish it was a night game, but we don't get everything that we want. But I kind of feel like 20-17 going in the last 5 minutes, something like that. I think because, as you know, we can run the ball. Did you see the last play? Oh, my God, it was so great. How can we run the ball? We ran the ball. All right, gentlemen, well done on college football. But you're not done. Take a little bit of a breather, just a little bit of a breather, because I need you back on the other side because the National Football League is bringing it strong. Quick update on the Ryder Cup Live. Xander and Cantlay, thank goodness for them. They're now 3 up, and the other 3 matches are 3, 4, and 5 to Team Europe. It's a beat down. So far, it looks like it's going to end 3-1 as they head into the 4-ball matches in the afternoon. All right, still to come on the other side, it's Packers and Cowboys. Can we get any better than that? The answer is yes. We got Ravens and the Chiefs. It's Coach and Company, Stadium, Bally Sports Live. All right, welcome back, everybody. A lot going on outside of the world of sports. Zeno, you brought it to our attention the other night, and the story just continues to get better. The young kid who was given the ball for Cal Raleigh, his 60th home run, not only did he get to meet Cal Raleigh, he got invited to watch batting practice from the field, and he got an autographed bat for giving him the ball back. I love when stories happen like this, but also they end like this.
Yeah, the crazy part is, like, just big picture. The guy was just being nice. And, it's now we have to reward people for being nice, which is always the thing when nice should be the standard. But it was a beautiful gesture by this young man to give the ball to a kid, because in reality, guys, it's a $9 baseball. Like, I get somebody hit it, and if you need one that badly, go buy one.
I've always thought that. Everybody thinks they're so expensive. Yeah. They're not. That's why they go through 20 or 30 every single game. Exactly. Soupy, I don't know if you saw this, what Zeno was talking about the other day, but I've really bought into this story, and I absolutely love it.
I love it too, because lately with home run balls and baseballs, we've seen so much negativity. Thank God we did not see a Philly Karen in this situation. And it's just, we look at sports, especially from our perspective, always at betting and thinking and analyzing games. But when we can finally take back and see the the humanizing version of it, that's what sports is all about. It's all about just good, positive vibes. And I'm glad that this story had a happy ending.
Now, will they have a happy ending? 20 seconds for you, Zeno. Is Seattle even a player in this year's playoffs in your mind?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously they are. The hard part is that they likely won't get home field advantage, because they would need the Yankees and Blue Jays to lose 2 out of 3, and they would have to win 3 out of 3 because they lost the season series to both of those teams. So it's a very slim chance. If they have to go on the road in a 7-game series, don't necessarily love their chances because they're much better at home, but they are a threat.
Yeah, that's a long flight, too, for almost everybody. Seattle is it's a great city. It's a great city, great food. We had WrestleMania there one year. I happen to be stripped down to my whitey tighties. That's a different story. We're back live in 5 seconds. True story. All right, welcome back, everybody. We have crossed the bottom of the hour. We continue to monitor my favorite event in all of sports, the Ryder Cup. John Rahm, Terrell Hatton up 3. Scotty Scheffler's getting housed with Russell Henley. They're down 4. And we're getting really close to being dormy in a lot of these matches. And Rory McIlroy, who famously 2 years ago said, the hardest thing to do in the Ryder Cup is to win an away game. And that's exactly what we plan to do in 2 years at Bethpage Black. He has come out with our current FedEx Cup champion, Tommy Fleetwood, and Colin Morikawa and Harris English. They are the recipients of an absolute beatdown so far this morning. 4 balls to come here in the afternoon. We are live on Stadium and Bally Sports Live. It is 10:33 if you're watching us live. In the East, it is 7:33 out here in the West, just getting your day started. Now, the NFL, nice little start last night. What was a dud of a game for 3 quarters. Kyler Murray and the Cardinals do what they do. They came back and lost a late one with a field goal, just like they did last week against San Francisco. But that's who they are. But there are a ton of good games this week, this Sunday. It's time to break them down. Let's kick it off. All right, I got to start, boys, with 2 teams last week that were responsible for 2 of the worst bad beats we've had so far this season. The Eagles might have been the worst bad beat in the history of my betting career, with a blocked field goal last play, scoop and score by a 350-pound lineman to cover the 5. The Bucs were up, and they would have been up by 8. They also had a field goal blocked, and the Jets took it back to the house. They end up winning by 2. But they both come in 3-0, Zeno. They both come in, regardless of the betting, they won every single game. So this is gigantic. What does it say to you that the Eagles are 3.5-point favorites away from home?
I think the Eagles are slightly overvalued. I think this year's Eagles are last year's Chiefs, where they'll continue to win very close games on a routine basis, one-score games, but never actually blow anybody out. So anytime I'm getting over a field goal, I'm probably going to take it against them. When you get to that, like 3.5, 4 is kind of the only places you can bet Philadelphia. But Tampa's a very good team. This is a spot where they have revenge from last year for Baker Mayfield trying to go beat this Eagles team, which I don't think he's done the last 2 tries that he's gone up against them. So I like the Bucs in this spot.
And I think sometimes the NFL, as opposed to college, guys, that how you win isn't so as important as that you win. And Soupy, when you have a team that made NFL history last week, and that is the Bucs, first team ever to score in the final minute of the first 3 games of the year to win the game. Think about that for a second. All the way down to minute 60 to get the job done. That means in pressure-packed situation, Baker Mayfield and his squad, they're good. You're going to give me 3 in the hook at home? I think I agree with Zeno. What say you?
I do agree with Zeno. I think I would take the Bucs at plus 3.5 too, because the difference between the Eagles this year and last year is they used to use the run to accentuate the pass. They're not passing at all. And they're taking away sort of the best part about that offense, and that they can do both. And this is not a very good Bucs secondary. I think they need to take advantage of it. And if they don't, I think this game stays close to where the Bucs will definitely cover. But I would sprinkle a little bit of that money line.
Oh, just a little sprinkle on the money line. Now, I do think last week, Big Chuck, that the Eagles had the headsets on listening to Greg Olsen, who was calling the game, because about halfway through the third quarter, he's like, I don't know why they don't just keep it simple and pass it to A.J. Brown. All of a sudden, A.J. Brown's got 5 catches and over 100 yards, and that's when they started making their big comeback after trailing 26-7 at one point to the L.A. Rams. Where do you see this game on Sunday?
I believe it or not, I originally was going to side with the Bucs, but I'm kind of liking the Eagles. They come in 9-0 their last night, but they are only 1-6 straight up against Tampa their last 7 and 2-5 ATS. So I'm kind of going back and forth on that one. But as of right now, I'm kind of leaning towards the Eagles. But what really draws my attention is this under. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. In fact, it's cashed in 4 their last 5 meetings. Eagles and the under.
Whenever it's 43, 45, 44, 45, I call that a yuck total. I hate totals that are those 3 numbers. Real quick on a prop perspective, Zeno, because of how A.J. Brown was finally found in the second half last week, do you think maybe his props this week, and I haven't even looked at the numbers yet, would be something to look at? Because I think they will start going to him in the first quarter, not the end of the third quarter.
I mean, the Bucs' one weakness is their secondary. So if you're going to pick something, do it there. I mean, Saquon Barkley's rushing number, if it's above 90, I would hit the under, because they do not get run on at all by anybody. I don't think they've given up more than 50 yards to our RB1 in the 3 games this year. So unless Saquon goes absolutely bonkers, which is the way the Eagles, as Soupy said, win this game, is for Saquon to really be leading the way. If they want to continue to throw and try to challenge the Buccaneers defense, fine, go ahead. But you're dealing with a pass rush here and a great set of linebacking core as well.
We will break this game down a little closer and have those numbers for you Sunday morning live at 10 a.m. Eastern time on our Coaching Company YouTube channel. All right, let's flip it over to game number 2. And this is a big one. And Soupy, when you look at the fact that the Ravens and the Chiefs, who both teams thought they should be Super Bowl contenders this year, the loser of this game will be 1-3. And the way the Ravens lost last week, they've got some issues protecting Lamar Jackson, sacked 7 times by Detroit. Now, the Chiefs are a home dog, 2.5. Explain this to me.
I can't explain it at all. I looked at that last week. I kind of just reassessed it. Lamar Jackson got sacked 7. Lamar Jackson, mind you, got sacked 7 times. One of the best mobile runners that we've seen since Michael Vick. There's something wrong there. And then you have Derrick Henry, too, who's fumbled the ball 3 straight games. There's just something wrong with the Ravens, and I can't pick it out. So that's why I think with a pedigree like the Chiefs, I think they get it done, especially at home.
He's the only running back in the entire league that has fumbled in all 3 games so far this year. He almost fumbled himself when he slammed the helmet down and almost fell on his ass. That would have been even more embarrassing. But Big Chuck, the Ravens come in, they scored over 40, then 41, then last. Their offense is not really the issue, but they're giving up a lot of points as well.
They're definitely giving up points. That's why I'm kind of siding with the Chiefs in this one, especially in a higher scoring game. Plus, Kansas City has had Ravens number. They're 6-1 their last 7 against Baltimore, and looks like 4-1 ATS. The over though, and it's cashed in 10 of the last 12 on the road for Baltimore. I like the Chefs at home catching the points. I'd like to see it get to 3 in the over.
Yeah, I would like to see it get to 3 as well. We love Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes rushing numbers a lot of weeks in. A lot of times so far this year, I think Patrick has cashed in 2 of the 3 games. He ran for at least 60. Do you like this matchup for those rushing numbers?
Well, I have to look at the number real quick, but I'll tell you this much. For Lamar, as Soupy mentioned, who got taken down and only had about 30 rushing yards last game on about 8 attempts, because I played his over in his rushing yards. He's back with a vengeance here, and we're looking at 46.5 for him. So still pretty consistent with what we normally see from him, but I think he would come back with a vengeance. I'll add this about this game here, Coach. We talked about this earlier in the week. There is a lot more pressure on the Chiefs to win this than there is the Ravens. The Ravens, again, can still win this division, even if they fall to 1-3, because the Steelers are not going to outpace anybody.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to outscore a ton of teams. They're not going to win 14 games. They might win 11, and the Ravens can still win 12 or at least 11, and they still have 2 games with the Steelers ahead. The Chiefs don't have that luxury. They've already lost one of the Chargers. The Chargers are 3-0 in the division. If the Chiefs lose this game here, they are talking about an impossibility to win the division, especially with the Chargers playing the Giants this week.
Yeah, the odds are minus 300 for the I always get this number wrong. Basically, the numbers don't favor the team that loses to make the playoffs. That's basically what it is. All right, final game that we're featuring today. And again, Sunday, we've got a full hour of just NFL matchups. But Sunday night, the football gods, thank you. Micah Parsons. Oh, it's gonna be painful. It's gonna be painful sacking my form. No, it's not. You're making 48 large. But the Packers somehow, Soupy, are touchdown favorites, and it screams to me that the books think CeeDee Lamb being out is a little more important than maybe other people do. Your take?
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb is important. Now they got to think George Pickens, Jalen Tolbert. They got to try to run the ball. I mean, Javonte Williams has actually been solid, but are they going to be able to do it against a Packers defense that just is great against the pass, against the run? And then you have Micah Parsons, and you have no Dallas defense. Russell Wilson is out of football right now, out of a starting job, and he just threw for 6,000 yards against this Dallas defense. I'm taking Jordan Love and that crew. I'll take that -7.
Now, it's interesting because the Packers lose to the Browns and scored 10, but Big Chuck, last week, the Cowboys scored 0 points in the second half. What gives?
I think the Packers are going to be in a foul mood. Plus, they love playing this Dallas team. 5-0 ATS their last 5. Dallas only 3-9 at home in their last 12. Plus, the over has went over in 7 straight when these two play in Big D. Love the Packers in this one. I think they roll. They score the bulk of the points and their team total over.
Yeah, who could forget the playoff matchup where they went bonkers a couple years ago? Zeno, you get my final take. I got about 45 seconds for you. Break this down for me.
I would never lay 7 with the Packers because I'm not a road-eating chalk weasel like everybody else. How's that sound? Look, it's probably a stay away from me because, as Soupy mentioned, this Cowboys defense is wholly untrustworthy. But the Packers offense still leaves a lot to be desired. Remember, even in the Week 1 win over the Lions, they weren't exactly all that impressive. They looked good defensively against the Commanders, but it's not exactly like their offense was humming. And so this is a lot of points for me to lay on the road in a primetime spot in a tough place to play. I get it what Chuck said. The track record is there, but, things were a lot different as far as coaching and personnel and everything else. So, yeah, there's no way I would lay the 7 here, but probably going to be a stay away for me.
Or if you're a teaser bettor, 6.5 and 7 is a really good number for a T, so maybe you bring this down to 1. We'll see. Gentlemen, great job on that. Quick update on the Ryder Cup. Well, Team Europe just closed out 3 matches, the first 3. They're up 3-0. Not exactly the way Team USA wanted to get things started. On the other side, Logan Paul, he's making news. This is Coaching Company on a Friday, plus we lock it in right here on Stadium next. All right, welcome back, everybody. We stay here on our YouTube channel. Now, we can't sleep on Major League Baseball this weekend. Which do you think is going to be a better finish, Zeno? Is it going to be the American League Central with the Tigers and the Guardians, or is it going to be the Blue Jays and the Yankees? And for bettors out there, do you like this type of matchups in games with 3 to go? Do you ever see an advantage there?
I mean, look, both the Yankees and Blue Jays are home, so this one's going to be a lot tighter on the way out the door. And Blue Jays have the tiebreaker advantage, which I'm glad baseball finally went to, and not the one-game playoff thing, as cool as it was. Just use the regular season, make those games matter more. I still don't think Toronto's going to end up collapsing this thing. I think they're going to end up winning the AL East when it's all said and done.
And last night they win 6-1 to kind of stop their little schneid. Soupy, you're also my Northeast guy as well. Which team, New York or Toronto, do you think needs the division more?
I think both teams would be fine. I would love to see the Yankees just because they would get the bye. The winner of this division gets the bye. I think that bye is just more important, especially when you're trying to get your arms together. And the Yankees' arms are very inconsistent. They've looked good recently, but they played some pretty bad teams. So I think that long time off would help the arms.
Soupy, we're just kissing. We're kissing New York with Aaron Boone. I can't get that image out of my mind. But the biggest collapse has been the Detroit Tigers. But they finally got a win yesterday. Can they right the ship enough this weekend?
No, I don't know.
What's that?
What happened?
What happened? Chuck?
I started to talk. My apologies. But they got a tough matchup. I think it's going to be tough for the Tigers. They're definitely faltering. I like the Guardians to go ahead and pull through on this one. I think they have the momentum. So, yeah, give me the Guardians all day.
Even Steven this weekend, Cleveland and Detroit. By the way, Texas coming to Cleveland. I think Cleveland gets it done. I think they're going to sweep Texas and complete this incredible comeback. 10.5 games back on September 1st. Crazy. All right, we're back. 5 seconds. All right, welcome back, everybody. Coaching Company here on Stadium and Bally Sports Live, DirecTV, YouTube TV, Amazon Prime Video. Now, we like to reserve this time of the show to lock it in 5 minutes. If you were not here at the top of the show to get all of our best bets, we have a lot of them today. But also, we like to find a topic that sometimes makes us wonder, makes us scratch our head, or maybe both. And Logan Paul, who I have a lot of respect for, you guys know I have a pro wrestling show on SiriusXM every single day, off the ropes 2 to 4 Eastern time. And he has become a can't-miss WWE superstar. But he's also a collector. He loves to do like the Pokemon, unpacking the cards, and all this kind of stuff. But Zeno, the story that's come out now, he had to file an injunction in court because he bid $562,000 on a piece of the United Center floor that was supposed to be signed by Michael Jordan. He then questioned the authenticity of it, but it just so happened to coincide with the day that the payment was scheduled to be made. Now, I'm not saying he didn't have the money to pay it, but he bid on it, and now he got the injunction because he's got to get an authenticator. Would you ever spend $562,000 on a piece of wood that MJ signed?
First, I have to have 560. That's the first thing. After that, there's a boat, there's a house, there's a spaceship to the moon, or at least something that Elon has fired into space that I could all have before I just want a piece of wood signed by Michael Jordan. I'd like to meet Michael Jordan. I don't think I have to pay $562,000 for that, though.
It's funny you mentioned that. Back when I was in the WWE, he was playing in Washington, and there's a long hallway in the arena, and the room that I would have was like right at the end, and they have a practice gym. And so I'm walking out of my room, walking down to catering, and who walks out of the locker room to go to the practice gym?
Micah.
I literally thought there was like a rainbow over his head. I thought I was looking at Jesus Christ. And as we're walking, it's just me and him, one-on-one. And I did the old, you know what you do when you think you're cool? You went, "What's up?"
So,
And he went, "What's up?" And that's all we said. And then he went and he just practiced his jumpers.
Jim
And
Bro nod, coach.
what's that? The bro nod?
Jim Bro nod.
I know. I
Bro.
should have given him the bro nod. I mean, so whenever people say, "Hey, have you ever met Michael Jordan?" I'm like, yeah, I met him. Yeah, sure, we met.
Nice.
Sort of. I will say this: on my first Christmas at ESPN, I was giving my family a tour, and this was back when Magic Johnson worked for ESPN. He walked around the corner, and that was exciting because my family got to meet Magic. But I digress. Soupy, $560,000 for MJ and an autograph.
The only way I would pay that much money for a piece of wood is if I stepped on that wood and I could fly like Jordan. I can't even imagine if I had that money, would I even spend it on something that I could just display? I mean,
Collectors are weird. Collectors are weird. They see value in these things. And Big Chuck, Logan, the only thing I can think of is that he had second thoughts about spending the money, but he had already signed all the paperwork. This is the only way that he could get out of it, if that's what he's trying to do.
Doesn't make any sense to me because it has to be authenticated before they sell it in an auction. I'm just wondering if he monetized from it prior to that, if he was in the background showing it off and monetized or anything, and now he made a little change off of that. Now he's not wanting to go through with the full buy.
No, from the story I read, he hasn't even had it in his hands yet, and basically he wants to bring in all these people to show that it's real. It's very fishy, but the bottom line is, it's not worth $560,000. Stop with the nonsense. I watched him do an unpacking of those cards one time, and you can find really expensive cards in like Pokemon. I don't get it, but they're expensive. All right, gentlemen, speaking of expensive, my daughter just did a remote order at Starbucks, as my American Express card just told me. So I need to cash some damn tickets today to pay for this damn thing. So let's lock it in. All right. Well, Xander and Cantlay, they have lost the last 2 holes, so they're only 1 up through 13. All right, 10 seconds or less, 1 or 2 nuggets is all that I need. Soupy, start us off.
I'm going with the full game under 60, Florida State and Virginia. I think this is going to be a slower pace game. I think Florida State is going to come out. They're going to try to control that pace. I think we're going to see a lot more of the run game. I think this stays a low-scoring game. Marlins money line. I think the Mets collapse this weekend, and it starts tonight. Sandy Alcantara, 2.25 ERA against the Mets in 2 starts.
All right, Zeno, you're up.
Yeah, same sort of philosophy here. Cutting the game in half just because these offenses in the second half may make adjustments here, but I expect both of these teams in Florida State and Virginia to start out slow. Plus, you're going to need at least 5 scores here to get over this number. With 8 possessions in the first half, you're at a small margin of error for both teams to score touchdowns on at least 4 of those drives here. And let's go Oregon State team total under 17.5. Houston, one of the best defenses in the country, 11th in FBS in total yardage allowed, and allowing just 9.7 points per game. Oregon State's offense has the 11th most penalty yardage. That ought to tell you how bad they are offensively.
Oh, absolutely horrendous. All right, my 2 plays, if you're going to cash with the coach, I'm getting off my own schneid tonight. Now, the Astros, they're going to be playing about 20 minutes from where I'm sitting right now against the Angels, who have already packed it in. They lost 8-4 last night. Astros blew out the Athletics last night, so a little juicy. Sometimes the juice is worth the squeeze. I'll take them on the money line. They have no margin for error. Houston is 1 game back of Detroit and Cleveland for the 3rd and final wild card spot. Then I'm going to parlay it up because it's just way too much juice separately. But the Yankees and Blue Jays tied at the top of the American League East. They both have to have a win. So both win, parlay it up, plus 162. All right, let's whip through it. Footy Friday. Chuck, talk to me.
And we start today in the Bundesliga. Bayern Munich, Werder Bremen, first half over 1.75 goals. Bayern home matches average 3.5 first half goals on the season. Then we go to Saturday, EPL, Chelsea, Brighton, the over 2.75. This is cashed in 10 or 9 of their last 10 meetings. Then we travel to Spain for the Madrid derby, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid. I'm just going to ride the hot hand here. Real Madrid, team total over 1.5. They've actually scored 2 or more goals in 10 of their last 11 league matches. Then Italy, Serie Cagliari and Inter Milan, the over 2.75. This has also come through in 8 of their last 9 meetings. And lastly, MLS Gold Mine, Colorado Rapids, Minnesota United. Colorado first half team total over half a goal. They've scored a first half goal in 3 of their last 4 matches. And lastly, we put that together in the first half parlay. We just simply need a first half goal in the 5 matches listed.
All right. Very, very good. There is our JTS play of the day, Marky Model.
Let's go back to back with this one, Coach. We're going to go with Indiana Fever, Aaliyah Boston to get at least 8 rebounds tonight. She has absolutely owned the boards against the Aces, where she's averaging 12 rebounds in this series. And we're going to pair that with Luis Aredes to get at least 1 hit tonight, something he's done in both times he's faced Zach Gallen this season, where he's averaging almost 2 hits a game. Put them both together, you get a plus 114. Just Stat Sports play of the day.
All right, come on over. Be a part of what we're doing. Scan that QR code. First month, only $1 when you use our code NFL100. All right, quickly, the Ryder Cup. Zeno, you played Bethpage Black before. We're on the verge, Team USA, of potentially losing all 4 of the opening matches. Xander and Patrick only a 1-up lead, playing 14. This is a disastrous start for Team USA.
Yeah, and for all the hype and all the bluster, and the crowd and the energy has been amazing on the pro U.S. side, and they have been silenced by Team Europe.
Silence. My goodness. This afternoon, you guys want to tune in. It's the 4-ball, meaning they all play their own ball, lowest score on the hole. It's going to be Team USA already backs against the wall. Gentlemen, great week. Great job. I appreciate all of you. Producer man, 1 shot. It's now time for you to go out into the world. Do not forget, Off the Ropes 2 to 4, weekday wagers 2 Eastern. Also, full podcast to support the morning show, 11:15 a.m. audio through Believe, video on our YouTube channel. With all it being said, there's only one thing left to do, and I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. My entire company, damn it, do I love them all. My man Zeno, Soupy, Big Chuck, Marky Model, Producer Man, and I am simply the coach trying to keep this train on said track. We grind for you, so we're going with you. This has been Coaching Company, presented by the 4-letter Word Club, the most exclusive club in all of golf. We're live on Stadium and Bally Sports Live. Have a great day.